So, welcome. My name is Unobuhle Kumalo, just in case you're not familiar with me, and I am a CASA trainee. So I'm not qualified, but I'm a trainee just like you, and I was in the same position that you were in just a few months ago, where I was writing, or rather preparing for my ITC board course 1. So I thought I'd just make this video, just that I can speak to you. It's like a friend advising another friend about what you can expect on this journey that you are currently on. I know you're getting a lot of advice from your managers, from the lecturers, from your board course. There's a lot of stuff coming through, but I thought maybe it would be nice to hear from someone who was in that same position just a few months ago, as opposed to a lecturer that did the board course like 5, 6, maybe even 10 years ago. So this is what I did. I am not saying that these tips and tricks are going to work for you. I am not saying that this is going to guarantee you a pass, but it is definitely something that I know contributed towards my success, and I think maybe sharing it with you guys will also help, because at the end of the day, it is a really nice feeling to pass your board course first attempt. Everything is just going well, but also even if you are repeating, it is okay. The fact that you took that decision to repeat and you are still on this journey, I'm proud of you. Continue. The end is definitely near. So just for context, I am actually in my 2nd year. So I did this last year, and it's funny to hear me say the end is near when I'm thinking, will I ever finish? Do I even want to become a CA? What did I get myself into? Am I in the right profession, industry? I should have probably done teaching. I should have probably become an artist. What if? But I'm here to tell you that, you're here. You got through CTA. You got through your BCom, your business science, whatever you did. So just finish it. Let's just wrap it up. All right, let me get straight into it. I hope you are relaxed, and I hope you are not trying to listen or watch this whilst you're working, because I want you to give me your undivided attention. I am only willing to share this attention with some snacks, maybe some juice, or maybe even chatting to your partner. I almost said spouse, and then I remembered that a lot of us aren't married. All right. Let's go. Guys, so in the essence of time, I'm not going to make this video long, because I know that you are probably squeezing me in between your study break, or you're probably cooking or whatever. But what I'm saying is, whenever you start, go for it. Don't feel stressed, don't feel bad, don't think, oh, you're already starting on a back foot just because you didn't have December and January to prepare, like how we did when we wrote ITC. Things change and you need to be able to adapt. So because you've got 1 month leave, it is okay. That 1 month is perfect. If I'm being honest with you, some of us who had December and January didn't actually study in December. And that was a good thing for us, because if you study for a long period of time, you get comfortable, you get complacent, you think, oh, I'm working so hard. I've been studying for the past 40 days. But if you're being honest with yourself, you're not being productive. You're probably only getting, of those 40 days, you've probably only properly studied for 15. So it's useless, because all the other 25 days, let's see. Yes, it is 25 days. Had to check my maths. All those other 25 days, you were just, you were moving the cursor, you were just doing the bare minimum, but it wasn't actually going in. So that is wasted time. Basically, what I'm saying is, whenever you start, it is the right time. Obviously, I'm hoping that you're not only studying a week before the board course, because that is very stressful. It's not impossible, but it's very stressful. Cool. So let's be honest, you have not sat down for an exam, you have not studied, you have not gone for lectures for minimum a month, maybe even longer. So it's probably quite hard getting back into routine. You're not used to having to watch lecture videos anymore, do actual exams, do tutorials that are 3 hours long. Understandable, okay? One of my friends was telling me that it's so hard for her to start because there's a 3-hour tutorial that she has to do. And I was thinking, there's no way you're going to do a 3-hour tutorial if you haven't done a tutorial in so long. So what you need to do is break it down. Questions come in different parts. It's not like it's all one question or related to one thing. You can break it down. So break it down into 1 hour or 45 minutes or whatever you think is manageable for you. But as time goes, increase the time, because basically what you're working towards is sitting for those full 3 hours during your ITC board course. So eventually you need to be able to sit for those 3 hours. But starting and hitting 3 hours in one go, I respect you if you can do it. but there's also a very high chance that you're doing nonsense and you're just letting time go by, whereas you could just break it down into smaller pieces. Keep timing yourself, obviously, just so that you don't spend more than 3 hours on the actual task, but on an overall, it is just 3 hours. Okay. Another thing you should consider is alternating the level of hardness. So I know board course does actually indicate to you that this is an easy task, this is a more difficult task. So try and alternate. In the beginning, maybe try the easier stuff and maybe 1 or 2 of the hard stuff, just so that you can ease yourself. It's nice to see that, oh, I'm getting this correct, I remember this, but you also need to remember that you need to actually attempt the hard stuff. But you can't just start with the hard stuff, you know. If you run into ITC board course and you just do the hard stuff, by the time you're actually sure of what you're doing, you've run out of tutorials because you've done everything, even though you got everything wrong. You can't really redo it because you know what the memo says. So you've basically exhausted your resources and you've wasted your time. So alternate levels, go for easy, medium, hard. But in the second to last week of your study leave, you should probably just be pushing the hard courses now, the hard tutorials. Please do not doubt the board course you have chosen. Right now is not the time for you to be questioning, should I have gone with UCT, or am I fine with APT, or should I have gone with APT because they have so many webinars and UCT is, you know, this is not the time for that. You have chosen your board course and you are stuck with it. What you need to do is make the best of it. I can tell you now, you know, it doesn't really matter. They teach in different ways, but essentially the fundamental principles are the same. Okay, you would have had to make that decision based on the type of learner you are. If you like seeing a lot of videos, or if you're fine with just getting tutorials, it is all up to you. But right now is not the time to be doubting yourself, so let's move on from that. Okay, let's move on. And even if you compare the pass rates, it's not fair. It's not fair. The reason I say that is because APT has a lot more candidates than UCT board course. So maybe one will look like they have a better pass rate than the other, but that's just because you're comparing 2 populations that are not the same. You know, like our lectures always say, you cannot compare an apple and an orange. It has to be apples with apples, even though that is a really stupid statement, because you can definitely compare an apple and an orange, but in this sense, you know, you need to compare like with like. Cool. And finally, before I get into the actual technical tips, I would like you to communicate with your family, with your loved ones, with your partner, or whoever you're living with. Communicate with them that you might not be as active and as present in your daily routine for the next month and a half, just because you are preparing for this big exam. It is big, guys. I don't want you to think, oh, you know, oh, it's not all that. It is all that. But it's also not all that. So if someone is going through a life-changing experience or someone dies, definitely do take the time for that. But I am hoping for your sake that nothing like that happens. But if it's something small like a bride or a party, maybe park it for now, maybe save it for one of your free days. But you definitely need to communicate, because all those chores you do, all the cooking that you do, you might not be able to do it as you were doing before, because now you have got a board course to do. Okay. This also applies to your work. Unfortunately, because you guys have started at work, you probably are already in engagements or files, or you have sections that you need to be doing that needed to have been completed. Listen to me carefully. Massage your ears so you can hear me carefully. Close that laptop. Forget about that audit, forget about the manager, forget about the second year, the third year, forget about the partner, forget about the whole firm if you want. Because when you fail ITC, no one is going to remember that, oh, shame, it's because Nobuhle came and cleared 15 review notes, so I understand why she didn't pass, shame, you know. So what I'm saying is prioritize yourself, because, you know, your results are your results and no one really cares. Remember, these managers are already CAs, the partners are CAs, so you need to now also focus on your journey of becoming a CA. So hone in on your studies, forget work. You know, no firm is going to fall apart because you didn't sign off on a working paper. No client is going to go bankrupt just because you forgot to sign off on a risk and a procedure. I know this sounds like bad advice, but right now you are being selfish. Consider yourself unemployed, consider yourself not working. Leave your laptop at work if you have the option to, but do not open that laptop. And I would advise you to actually use your personal laptop when you are studying, just so you are not getting notifications, you're not getting emails, you're not getting anything work related. Otherwise, just log out. Okay, now onto the more practical tips. I'm just going to run through them quickly. Firstly, focus on your harder sections, okay? You're not going to get a chance to go through the whole syllabus because you've been studying for 4 years now, 4+ years. So there's no way that you will be able to cover every single thing you studied within this month of leave that you are on. So focus on your tough sections. You know what you did in CTA, you know what almost caught you, you know what would have been a disaster if it came out in that exam. So focus on it. Now is your time to go and polish those skills. The stuff that you're comfortable with, yeah, if it comes up in a tutorial you can do it, but honestly you should not be dedicating a day or half a day to do a section that you know you can do in your sleep. Number 2, do more than one course a day. So because there's MANAC, management accounting, there's accounting, there's auditing, there's a lot of courses overall. But you need to make sure that per day you are at least doing 2. So you can't just dedicate a whole day to accounting and a whole day to auditing just because you need to train your brain to be able to adapt to different situations. Because you know ITC, you get one scenario and you can get asked anything. You can get asked about tax, MANAC, accounting. There's no limit. So for you to only do an accounting tutorial for the whole day is playing yourself because you're not allowing your brain the time to adjust to looking at different things all at the same time, okay? Because you need to train yourself that, you know, I can't just be thinking about accounting. Yes, they said that ABC Traders has XYZ. You need to think, what's the accounting effect? What's the tax effect? Ooh, is there anything that may relate to management accounting? What if, you know? So 2 courses a day, please. And I would recommend 2, not more than 2, just because if now you're doing all 4 courses all in one day, it means you're only giving yourself maybe 2-3 hours per course every day. And that's not really fair because it's not enough time to actually engage with the content. So rather half a day, you know, at least you're giving yourself 4 hours of accounting and 4 hours of auditing. Next, time management. This is so important. Draw up a schedule, draw up a timetable. Even if you do not use it, just have it in place so that you have direction. You know which course needs more attention. So you can't just wake up and decide, oh, today I'm feeling like accounting. Because what if you feel like accounting for a good 15 days and then the remaining 15 days you have to split between all the other courses? You need to have a time schedule. Show yourself that, oh, I know accounting isn't that hard for me, so I'm only going to dedicate about 7 days to it. And then MANAC, definitely so hard for me. I need at least 10 days, you know, to do that. And by 10 days, I mean 10 half days, because remember, you're doing 2 courses a day. Cool. This also helps you to just have a vision of where you're going, you know. Obviously, it'll change. That's why it needs to be flexible. So don't think that what is set on that paper has to be done on that day. If you have accounting on day 5, but on day 5, you realize that actually auditing is getting a lot shakier than I thought, it's fine. Swap it out, change it. But it helps that you had a schedule before, because now you know that I've swapped out audit, which means I need to do auditing at some stage, even though I hadn't planned to do it, okay? Another thing that really helped me with the breaking down things into bite sizes, it also helped with my time management, is downloading this Pomodoro app. So it counts down for you. I know that personally I can work in 45-minute slots. So I was setting 45 minutes, then it would give me a 5-minute break, another 45 minutes, 5-minute break. Then at the end of 4 sessions of 45 minutes, which is basically 4 hours now, I would get a whole hour break. So it was a nice way for me to track how much I'm actually doing, because like I said in the beginning, it's very hard to just sit for a 3-hour tutorial, one go, you know, there's no breaks. It is difficult. I could not. So if you're someone like this, try that Pomodoro app. You can also use your cell phone timer if you want, but I think the Pomodoro app that I used was quite useful because it broke down, and every single day you could see you could see how much you worked, and you can actually backtrack and say, yo, yesterday I only pushed 7 hours, the other day I managed to do 11 hours, today I'm pushing for 9. Cool. What to do on the day? Okay, so we are actually preparing for this big day, or rather big 2-3 days of writing. So now what you need to do on the day is make sure you have a watch. Keep a watch. I have a simple watch that I actually bought on the day of my board course, because in the first session they didn't have a watch and they just expected us to be able to count 3 hours in our heads. So the first exam I wrote, I didn't know what was happening in terms of time. I went and I bought this watch and I used it for the rest of the exams. So now SAICA does have a lot of policies in terms of the watches you can use, so no smart watches and everything. So my advice, keep it basic, keep it simple. You might not be able to use it, but that's if they have a watch or they have a countdown happening in front of the hall. If they don't, then you can tell them, how am I going to manage my time if I don't know what time it is? Because the lady I spoke to wouldn't even shout out 1 hour remaining, 2 hours remaining. There was nothing. It was just start, your time is up, and I was a mess. But anyways, luckily I passed. Carry snacks. 3 hours is a long time, especially if you're stressed and your heart is beating because you really want to be a CA. Carry some snacks. You might need that sugar boost, or have some water, or have a shake if you're someone who likes shakes. I did that. I actually had a nice berry shake and it kept me refreshed because it was quite cold, but it was also sweet but not too sweet, and it was also sort of healthy. So I love that. That really did help me. So do what works for you. With these snacks, I would advise you to actually do it whilst you're studying. So don't now suddenly bring in snacks into your ITC exam, but you've never studied with snacks, because it might throw you off. It might be too sweet. You might get a toothache. There's a lot that can happen. So whilst you're studying right now, try simulate what you'll be doing in the exam. Try find the clothes you'll be wearing. Are you someone who works better with closed shoes or open shoes? I know when I'm wearing open shoes or slippers, I'm relaxed. I'm very, very relaxed. But as soon as I wear tackies or closed shoes, I know it's business time. I know it's time to focus. So when I was studying, I was wearing closed shoes. I know it seems so bizarre, but it really happens. You need to train yourself for that actual exam. If you need a watch, like I said, wear a watch whilst you're working. If you need water whilst you're studying, carry water into your exam. Do what you believe you will need to do on the day, because you don't want to be someone who's never drank water. Now suddenly in your board course you're drinking water because you're so anxious and you're playing with your water bottle. Now you need to go take 5 pee breaks. Not only do you look suspicious because what's in the toilet that you have to go 5 times in 3 hours, but also you're wasting time. You have to walk there, you have to pee, you have to wipe, you have to come back. So prepare. And if you're someone who likes writing in pajamas, then write in pajamas. Go to your ITC in pajamas. There is no dress code. Do what will make you feel comfortable and what will help you to excel. That is what you need to do. Forget if people laugh, forget if people give you weird eyes. You are there for you and your ITC board course, and remember that. Lastly, for that day, remember to breathe. Do not talk to people. Don't stress if people are revising and you feel like, oh my word, did I even look at that? Relax. What's done is done. There's nothing you can change in the morning of the paper. What's going to happen is that you're going to walk in and you're going to write. Come, rain or thunder. You are writing. So don't stress yourself. Do what works for you. You managed to get through CTA. So you can do this in a heartbeat. It is not something that is completely different. It is the same content. You managed CTA through a whole pandemic. So you can do this. I back you, and you need to back yourself as well, because that is what will actually allow you to succeed in this board course. It's not actually hard. It's not something completely different. There are no curveballs. It's just a different mind game, and you need to train your mind to do that. It's a different mind game. You're sitting with different people from different backgrounds. Someone's from UKZN, the others from WITS, the others from UJ. There are so many people. But you need to make sure that they don't throw you off. Do what you need to do to become the CA that you are planning to become. And I have no doubt that you will pass this exam, okay? I'm wishing you all the best. Good luck. Don't stress too much, but also do stress just enough. And if you need some motivation, just think about how nice it will be when you get those results and you've actually passed. I can't explain how nice it is, especially because it's such a daunting process. But if you're someone like me who likes being scared, imagine the cost of failing. The cost of having to pay for your own board course, because if you repeat, the company that you work for doesn't pay for the repeat, you pay for it yourself. And board course isn't cheap, You pay for the actual board course exam and the actual exam, so it's not cheap. Think about the fact that you've got a month's leave right now, but if you're repeating and now you're in 2nd year or 3rd year, you don't get a month's leave, you get 2 days. So think about that. It is much better to pass it when you still have a whole month leave than to try and squeeze it into 2 days, because your managers will not let you off because you should have passed this round 1. Good luck. You've got this. you have all the tools you need, and you just need to back yourself. That is the most important thing to do. Have so much confidence in yourself, but do not become cocky, because when you're cocky, could fail and then it gets awkward. And yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful experience. Talk to one another, reach out to one another, comment down below if you're writing ITC so other people can see. Maybe you guys can talk to each other, you can share papers, you can share ideas. And yeah, oh my word, the most important thing, I almost forgot, the most important thing throughout this process is to mark your attempt, and mark it harshly. Do not be nice to yourself. Do not use your brain and say, oh, I know what I'm saying. Mark what is on the paper. And if you're really struggling with this, I would suggest that you actually team up with someone who's in your city so you can exchange papers. They'll mark yours, you mark theirs, because that way then you can't preempt what someone is going to say. If there is no capitalized written, you don't know that they mean capitalize the asset. So it is a nice thing, but I mean, pandemic and everything, so I understand it might not be easy, but be very critical when you are marking, because when your assessors are actually marking your papers, they're not going to be nice to you. They're not going to think, I get where she was going, so no. It's either there or it's not there. And remember to apply. Application is where you get your marks. You can't just dump down what's on your handbook, because they have the handbook. You need to apply. It is very important to apply. But you will be fine. I am super confident that you will be fine. And if you have enjoyed this video, please do share it with other people that you think are going through the same thing. Maybe they'll enjoy hearing this. Yeah. And if you haven't already, you should probably check out the rest of my channel, maybe after ITC. I do have quite a lot of interesting content, and it might help you as a CASA trainee. It is not only about being a CASA trainee, trust me, but it is definitely something that it's things that I have encountered along my path, be it how to buy shares, be it how to file my tax return, which you will have to do some stage this year. So check out my channel, and I hope you have a good day. Cool. Bye guys.